It's raining outside. Just a while ago I was out and it started to get rain. So maybe we'll get used to it. In and out, in and out. Getting used to it. That can be the name of this video. Where it started, I can go back, but the main theme is that if you have trees, or if you have the tree roots spreading out, that ecosystem would have certain habit to prevail, so that there are certain protocols they develop. If you go that direction, it's too dry or too wet or too windy. Branches go this way, that way, the root go this way, that way. So they develop that. Oh yes, and then I thought about Baboon. This is, what's his name? The Stanford professor of the human biology? Oh, I forgot his name, but he's spent, I think, 20 years perhaps in Africa studying baboon. I think his name starts with S, Skopsky or something. And the study is very interesting in relation to the root and the branch I was talking about. I said it's ecosystem. In the case of the baboon, say you are part of that society. So there's a hierarchy, power hierarchy, and what to follow. And if you're new to that society, coming from somewhere for some odd reason, then you have to kind of assimilate, figure out how to fit and where. Personally, I didn't like that kind of a process. It's kind of bureaucratic and not free. So my life was from Japan, I went to the US, exploring how much fun I can have, what's the limit. I think I still have this rebellious kind of a tendency, and that made me to look at organization in the US to change. More what I want to call authentic, not the hierarchical or sometimes too rigid. So I talked about the glass wall instead of the brick wall. Each department speaks their language, they don't communicate each other. Glass wall, openness, simplify, combine, eliminate. Everybody write annual report, mini company idea. What's the mission, customer, suppliers, KPIs, and how you do it? Explain it, show it to everyone, so customers and suppliers can take a look at it. Some may object to a new system, but if the top management like it, then I can somehow manage to get those things done. But once it's get done, the funny things happen. The top management, they think it's all good and they don't want to change their own behavior. Many companies go into that trap, and even 5-6 years of success with one company, I remember CEO changed his mind and basically screwed up everything. It was sad, because I remember the last day I left, I know a guy, I forgot his name, but he was conducting a meeting at the shop floor. Everybody's listening seriously. You see, I helped them to reject the unionizing because of the work that company can do with the employees. Anyway, going back to this baboon story, any organization have those momentum, tendency, structure, protocol. So if I'm from outside, I can only stay few days at the most, and I get out of it because I start to smell all the stickiness, which is preventing to be more open. Maximum utilizing people's talent, Zen Kigen. So I did that. And now I'm here at the Zen Temple, new, so they have a protocol. So I pictured that image of a baboon. I'm a new one. I'm very quiet. They ask me, how you doing? I'm settled fine, trying to not make any moves. But any little thing can annoy them, or some of them. If I make a mistake, forgetting something, that's not right, you have to do it this way. And this morning there's a guy, because I was in charge of the cleaning up the kitchen table and stuff, and he said, who is doing the job? I'm doing it. It's messy. So where? I checked that. He showed me the few drops of some insect dropping, and in other areas, small bit pieces. Clearly that annoys him. And I said, I'm sorry, I'll take care of it. He asked me, how often do you do this checking? I'm out of the surgery, so I wasn't as perfect, but I tried to do it as much as possible. I said, at least every 2 days. And he said, oh, and went away. So, need to be very sensitive, careful, but my rebellious nature would kind of get offended. Is this all they do? But it's the protocol. People get used to it. Anyone who is new, violating the protocol, whether right or wrong, it just doesn't matter. Habitual pattern. I remember going back to Toshiba, the company I first worked, 10 years after I resigned or left the company, I came back and went into the office, and people looked the same desk, same work. And one lady brought a little piece of paper that I left 10 years ago. I couldn't meet you, but I'm leaving. I wish you good luck or something. And she kept that. Habitual pattern. Interesting, isn't it? No wonder political system, which I'm not that familiar with, more of a progressive, more conservative, more liberal, whatever the terminology, there's always some kind of a movement, balancing act. So I guess Spolsky, I think what's his name, Stanford professor study on baboon, must have a lot to do with this thing. And one of the major things I picked up, and I totally agree from the beginning, there's no free will. If you think you have free will, you don't know your life. In theory, you may think you have a free will, but you have an implant. I posted some video, but when you're young, before your words even know the words, you look around and look at people, and some people look happy, some people not so happy, and you kind of gravitate to the people who are happy and the powerful. So that's the learning process to survive for the kids. Balloon the same. I think that trees may have some tendency, because they have to have some sort of a joint, but how do you call it, the biomic system to work together with even the mushroom or whatever the underground that you don't see. And they can feel something is changing and then spread out the news to figure out to defend some such thing. So that's the biologically developed way for the group to sustain what they are good at, even though that's the ego, it doesn't matter. That's just conceptual thing. It's just habitual thing is habitual thing before the concept that brain may say something, but the body moves on their own. So be careful. That's probably is one of the major reasons that I move around, but because I don't want to be stuck. Not to say I'm arrogant, maybe I am, but be careful, because if you get stuck, you go with the tide. This is an odd story, but just popped up. When I was graduating from the college, I may have shared this in the other video. They take a picture of the 240 people from electrical engineering. We study the computer, this and that. They look at the camera, I look at it. 1, 2, 3, they take a picture, and the 3 I was pointing in the wrong direction, or in my view, right direction. Somehow I'm playful enough, so I went into other department and did the same thing. I don't know if my friend noticed, who is this guy doing this? Maybe they don't care of the picture. And that was when I was 20-something. And that's implanted in me. So I'm unique my own way. Everybody's unique. So you don't need to believe me, because it's just conditional. And if you don't like me, well, I'll be quiet and you can turn off. If you feel something is there, you can connect. It's a normal distribution. All the varieties of people interact with each other. So if you know that, and if you play a safe, reliable game and not to go where you may die, as well as your tribe do the same thing, that may work. But be careful, if you want to join to a group, choose the one that fits you and with that flexibility and the growth potential. If you're not, and if you get stuck, you go with the tide. I hope I'm not arrogant when I talk like this. If I say I have the compassionate sense, maybe nobody will believe it. But that's the whole idea. Having gone through that, I don't know how long after my awakening happened 25 years ago at Vipassana. May all beings be happy. Buddha, or nature's way, it's pointing you, not the concept. Let things to grow, relate to each other, connect to each other, so that not self-centeredness, well, it happens. Someone wants to go to the Mars and spend so much money on this and that. Others may go dig into the, all varieties of things, all politically this way and that way. We are thrown into that soup. But you can get out of the soup to the other soup. Like a hot spring, find the temperature, scenery, surroundings you like, but not to be too comfortable. Be attentive like samurai to discover what's the entropy, what can go wrong. The organized process may be disorganized if left alone. I think there's some word on that in Tao Te Ching, but I think I talked enough. Maybe some other time I'll talk about Tao Te Ching, about this view. Tao, I call it nature's way. Atman is because no action, no human action, counterintuitive. No mind, no self, counterintuitive, because you want to save yourself and all that argument. But there's some truth in it. If you know that and live accordingly, you may have an interesting life, hopefully connected to the idea of the may all beings be happy. If not, that happens. You are your own master to do whatever you wish. But be careful, free will. You think it's a free will. Maybe you haven't learned the lesson yet. So I leave with that question. I have left with many questions, but it's up to you to solve it, because that's life. Hopefully you get to this. May all beings be happy, thinking, and not go near where you may die. Thank you.